Hello, listeners, followers, subscribers, and/or fellow writers. I was going to do a podcast episode based on one of my articles, just get right into it, but I thought an introduction might be appropriate for those of you who don't know me and want to. I'm Brandon Ellrich, not Ellrich, Rich, which is the opposite of what I am, so a paid subscription would really help me in that department. I started blogging on WordPress in 2020. I met many writers there, felt like part of a good writing community. I still have a blog there, but I rarely post anything new. I still use my WordPress website to update my writing portfolio for jobs and to promote my books. Yes, I've written a couple books, self-published one on Amazon and the other through Archway Publishing, which is the self-publishing branch of Simon & Schuster. I tried for several years submitting to traditional publishing companies, but it didn't go anywhere. I got tired of the rejections, so I went the self-publishing route. If you've done it, you know it takes a lot of self-promotion. One thing I'm terrible at is self-promotion. So if you're not constantly promoting your book, it sits on a virtual shelf collecting digital dust mites. I'll post more about my self-publishing experience in a future article or episode. See what I did there? That's a teaser. Did it work? So I decided to start a blog on WordPress. I got a lot of great feedback. People loved my poetry and fictional stories. I'd heard about Medium for a while, but I didn't know if it'd be worth paying a monthly fee to try to get followers. Eventually, I thought my writing isn't earning me any money on WordPress. So later in 2020, I started with a free account on Medium, but you were limited on the number of stories you could read and write with a free account. In 2022, I finally became a paying member. At that time, you had to gain at least 100 followers to qualify to receive earnings for your writing. I worked at it and gained 100 followers within a month, and I started earning. I was skeptical about finding the same type of community that I'd found on WordPress. My fiction and poetry did well there, but I quickly found out that Medium didn't value those genres as much. Or at least readers of Medium didn't. But it didn't take me long to find a great group of writers. I became part of a group who wrote stories based on writing prompts. I started writing a lot of humorous posts, putting satirical twists on the prompts. People seemed to love my humor writing, which really surprised me. I didn't fancy myself a humor writer before then. A lot of my writing was rather dark and depressing, actually. I didn't write many personal stories or essays because I just didn't want to share a lot of my personal life. But I realized that that's something people wanted to read. They wanted to have something to connect to, someone to read who may have experienced a similar life event or whatever. That's when I started relating stories of my life as someone in the LGBTQ plus community, growing up in a rural conservative community and family. I'd been writing for a company about a year as a freelance content writer for a couple of pet websites, but I guess the company wasn't doing so well, and at the end of September, they ceased all production, got rid of all their editors and writers. In the first week of October of last year, I had my first article boosted on Medium, which came at a perfect time because I had just lost the writing gig. I then ended up having 4 articles boosted that month, which was thrilling to me. I made more money from those than I imagined I would. In November, I had 3 more boosted and 2 more in December. I'd heard that people earned a full-time living from writing on Medium, and I started to think maybe I could do that. Unfortunately, after the initial wave of readers read my boosted articles, they didn't keep coming back for my unboosted ones. So in January, I got a freelance job as a content writer. though mainly my job was an AI trainer. I trained large language models like Google Gemini and Chat GPT, graded them, and helped them improve. I'll write more about that also in future articles. Um, Medium took a back seat at that time, and I published barely one article a month for much of this year. The company shifted around and projects were becoming fewer. So in October, I picked up my writing on Medium. I had a couple of articles boosted in November of 2024, but views and reads really took a dive after that. I had a few pieces nominated for boosts, but they didn't get accepted. I've heard that from a lot of other writers as well. So I pivoted and joined Substack. I enjoy it so far, but one drawback is that I don't get paid for my writing unless someone signs up for a paid subscription. I haven't been here long, so I'm waiting and hoping for some sweet, kind soul to have pity on me. No, I don't want that. Well, maybe I do. Money is money. You can give me pity money if you want. I think Walmart and Aldi would still take my pity money, despite the tear stains on George Washington's face, or preferably Benjamin Franklin's face. Well, I think you've had enough of this, and I know I have. I hope you follow, subscribe, stick around for more of my content. Until then, I hope your 2025 is going well so far. Say goodbye, Zach.